Should be the final week. It's not the final week. We get to do another one of these next week, but it is week 17, and Tom Brady still ruins my Sundays, makes me shave after months and months of trying to grow a beard. Dallas Cowboys, unimpressive. Kansas City Chiefs lose, and we forgot that they won 6 straight. Colts, we don't know about them anymore. Patriots beat the Jaguars, and everyone's like, oh, Mac's really good again. What else? Packers destroy Minnesota and Sean Mannion.
I don't really know why anyone was surprised at that one.
Yeah. I mean, even with Kirk, I don't think it would have been this bad, but it would have been pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, Kirk does well enough, but really, I mean, the Vikings didn't stand much of a chance there.
Yeah. All right. So that was enough about that game. No one cares.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jets Bucks, just because everyone's talking about Antonio Brown, like the first 3 quarters weren't really that interesting. The Jets were just outplaying the Bucks, and it seemed like it was going to be that Sunday night game against New Orleans again.
Mm.
And then Antonio Brown runs off the field with his shirt off like a weirdo. He just had to go to the bathroom, I think. And then, yeah. Okay, Bryce, I said this on your page. Bucks fans are like, oh, this guy's only been problems, blah, blah, blah. Played really well in the Super Bowl. You kind of needed him. You're going to need him this year. In like 2 weeks, they're going to be like, oh, what he did was wrong, but like, can he come back?
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. I think the headache is much bigger than anything he's going to produce for you. Because when he signed Antonio Brown, Bruce Arians said he only gets 1 chance, and so far he's gotten 2 chances, so he's out, really. There's no chance of him coming back at all.
It's a massive loss, but there's a reason he keeps getting these chances. And like what he did today, like it was crazy, but I don't think anyone was really that surprised that Antonio Brown did that. Like that's just
Not
what
at
he
all.
does and who he is. And I mean, I wouldn't take a chance on him, but like before he did that, he was routing guys up. Like he's still a good receiver, and the Bucks kind of need him. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, it is really easy to justify hating him because he gives us so much ammunition. Like he just hands it to us. But he is still arguably one of the greatest receivers of this entire generation. I mean, if you consider his trajectory, if everything had stayed the same over in Pittsburgh, then I mean, we'd be looking at a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, he's never been the same since that hit, and you can talk about head trauma all you want, but we don't know anything outside of his behavior, and his behavior is inexcusable.
Yeah, it's one thing that I gotta bring up about it is I don't care what your stance is on Mike Tomlin, but the way he handled Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown for all those years really speaks to that culture. Because after they left, it's just been a handful of messes for every team they've been on.
Yeah, they've been just consistent headaches, and evidently, Mike Tomlin, I don't know if he gets enough credit for his work as a coach dealing with some of the biggest egos in the NFL over all these years, but he's dealt with it astronomically.
He's made it work though, and for the most part, both those players were really quiet in Pittsburgh too.
And Ben has a huge ego too.
Oh yeah, 100%. But Ben also has like low lows, and digging him out of that and making your team contend again is difficult. I mean, everyone remembers Big Ben's 4 interception. I don't know if I belong in the league anymore game, and somehow then like the very next year I think, or the year after that, he digs him out to like an 11-0 start to the year, and it's sort of we can say Pittsburgh was a fraudulent undefeated team at the time, all you want, but I mean, 11-0 can't really be argued with. Tomlin did a phenomenal job at making that team win games, and they were never as good as that record.
Definitely.
I guess the best game of the day, you could say, was Arizona-Dallas. I mean, it was a slow starter, but it definitely built
That's
up.
got to be up
towards the
there.
end.
I got to go with KC and
Yeah,
Cincy, though.
Oh
That's
yeah, I didn't get that one. Forgot about that one.
I know Raiders Colts was pretty good too.
Yeah, that last second field goal was just amazing.
The Bengals really surprised me though, because I saw all the stuff on ESPN this week. It was like Dan Orlovsky was talking about how the Bengals had an unstoppable offense, and I was like, the Bengals are getting way overblown off one performance. Like I was really expecting them to come out and get smacked by the Chiefs, and they kind of did. They went down 14-0, but I mean they came right back, and like I don't know how far the Bengals can go this year, but Joe Burrow is the real deal. Joe Burrow looks like someone that could bring a Super Bowl to Cincinnati. I was blown away by the Bengals today.
Burrow's last 2 games, 971 yards and 8 touchdown passes.
No interceptions. That man is on fire.
He's been on a tear.
Yeah, and if Burrow and Chase stay hot like this, then you could easily see them going deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, and now we're seeing Jamar Chase is the receiver that made Justin Jefferson a number 2 wide receiver on his college team. Like that's how good Chase is.
Yeah. I mean, we all believed in Jefferson, but he was just shattered all of his rookie records literally the next year.
Yeah, it was super great. Jamar Chase single-handedly won my opponent the fantasy championship. I didn't know what was going on. I was down like 60 to 15. I was like, oh, he probably has like his defense playing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Josh Allen, who had like 2 4-yard rushing touchdowns. So that's 12 points. This was when Chase had like the first 2 touchdowns. Then the Bills defense at the time had like 16 points. So, yeah, it was great.
Neither defense in the Cincy and KC game decided to show up either. Cincy had like no sacks either, which surprises me with Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, that was worrisome from Kansas City because like their defense was awful to start the year, and they put some good play together, and then today they just didn't want to cover or tackle anybody.
They went back to that first half of the season play for that defense.
Seahawks scored 51.
Patriots scored 50.
I didn't even know that happened.
50 burgers.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson's back too.
Yeah, I mean they were playing garbage time in the second quarter.
I know it was Detroit, but still 4 touchdowns for Russell Wilson is great.
Where did Rashad Penny come from? Like, why did he wait till the 4th year on his rookie deal, the last half of the year?
Too many injuries.
Yeah, dude, he was just trying to make it difficult for them. He was sitting at home thinking to himself, you know what would really, really, really mess up every fan and member of the front office at the same time? If I waited, until the last 8th of my rookie deal and then blew up out of nowhere.
Yeah, he let them decline the 5th-year option, and now he's going to hit unrestricted free agency off like a bunch of 150-yard performances.
Right, he goes, look what I just did a couple weeks ago. Give me millions. And someone's going to give him decent cash. You know they will.
Mm-hmm. He's a good argument to the Seahawks, too. Like, look at what their offense looked like before Rashad Penny was getting 25 carries a game. It was terrible.
Yeah.
We all knew what he could do in college, but he just couldn't stay healthy for more than 4 games a season. Now he's finally getting to show what he really is.
Speaking of animal teams, Bryce, I know this one made you happy. The Dolphins finally lost. They played a good team for the first time in 2 months and got schmacked. And they're done.
And they're finally
knocked the Patriots out, but I'm glad that this streak is finally over.
Now I just hope they win next week too.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that wasn't the wake-up call the Dolphins front office needed to get rid of Tua. Hopefully he can come out, play a good game against the Patriots, and they can bring him back next year for more.
I don't know. I think Tua is decent. I don't think he's got it all, but I think
his ceiling is Kirk Cousins.
But is Kirk Cousins that bad a ceiling for a team with talent that needs a quarterback? I mean, not everyone's going to have a top 5 QB.
Super Bowl.
Well,
Tua won't win you a Super Bowl. Neither will Kirk Cousins.
But can they put the pieces around them to win a Super Bowl? Admittedly, the question is with Kirk Cousins. I think the answer is no. I mean, look at him in Minnesota. He's been given everything he could ever have needed around him, and he hasn't done it. But I do think that, Tua, we just don't know yet.
Yeah, their offensive line's a disaster, and I don't like judging a quarterback behind a bad O-line.
Yeah, it just seems unfair to give these guys, very little chance, and then, admittedly he's had a good defense this whole time, but that's not really enough. I feel like he needs a good offensive line. Give him like a mediocre run game and one more wide receiver, and I think that the Dolphins get a better idea of whether or not he's actually capable of doing the deed and getting them over there. But I don't think he's good enough to get there. But I also think that it doesn't matter. I think that if he's the best option they have in the short term, then they have to take it and hope, because they don't have the resources to go chase somebody else yet. Unless you're buying someone in free agency like Russell Wilson. I don't think Watson's going to be on the table the same way this offseason.
Don't think so? Why? Because of his lawsuits, or?
I think that there's just too much. There's too much. There's just too much going on, on or off the field. It's they're working with a team that has his contracts but won't trade them for a reasonable price. There's a massive confusing legal situation which realistically isn't getting resolved until another year from now.
Mm-hmm. I think a team that would get Watson would be desperate, and I'm not sure Miami's desperate yet.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they were the only team that were willing to make serious offers, around the trade deadline. But
Chargers Raiders Sunday night game next week just came out, so I just wanted to put that out there.
Which ones?
Chargers Raiders.
Yeah, winner gets a playoff game, right?
Yeah.
Well, they make it in potentially.
No, I think it's guaranteed. Winner makes the playoffs. Loser misses out.
The AFC is pretty self-explanatory, because the Colts play the Jaguars and they're win and in, which there's no reason for them to lose that game. And then the winner of Raiders-Chargers should get the last spot.
Oh, yeah, because I forgot the Patriots clinched. And then I was
Cowboys,
like,
Eagles Saturday at 8:15.
Eagles also have clinched a playoff spot, by the way, with that Packers win.
Then Chiefs Broncos Saturday at 4:30.
Like, nobody wants to watch that game again in a primetime situation. Yeah, it's Saturday at 4:30, but we don't want to see that again.
No.
The Broncos are in a bad spot. I don't know what they do.
But, Bryce, you said the Eagles. I can't say my Philadelphia Eagles. I claim too many teams. But
you have.
my quarterback and one of my head coaches leading this team to a guaranteed winning record. And Jalen's going to get to be a starter for them next year. Nick Sirianni's going to come back next year.
I feel bad for him if he's their starter.
Why? He's a playoff caliber quarterback, obviously.
I mean, yeah, but I know I say this about a lot of quarterbacks, but I don't know if he can win a Super Bowl for you.
Yeah, but
I don't think we need to be there yet. This is his first year as a starter.
In the league.
We should be comparing Hurts to Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, and these other first-year starters. I don't think we need to be at Super Bowl yet with them.
Yeah, I feel like the development timeline for him it's just not there. You can't put them on the tier of other people when they're so early.
Yeah, there's not a ton around him. The Eagles have 3 first-round picks this year. This has always been a long-term build, and I think Hurts just kind of ended up being better than expected. They haven't done anything impressive, but they've beaten all the crappy teams on their schedule, and they're going to the playoffs. So they'll probably get smacked, but they're going to get in. Good for them.
The thing about Philly is that they did have those 3 picks, and they were, the Jets, the Giants, and the Eagles were all set to pick with 2 picks each within the top 9. Now it's the Jets and Giants have 2 picks each within the top 8, and Philly picks 14th, 21st, and 19th, which I think could be beneficial to them.
It's not a bad range for what they need.
Yeah, and would they be overspending with top 10 draft picks for what they should be looking for right now? It's either you use them or you trade down. And as much as I'm always team trade down. I think trading down, multiplying your draft picks gives you a much wider net and better chance picking up elite talent. But the Eagles' needs are not the kind of players you typically find picked within the top 7 or 8. You need that, couple wide receivers, fill up, plug your offensive line, get some pressure off the edge, solid strength, solid linebackers, the core guys to a team that you can build around.
If they could go like wide receiver, linebacker, corner in the first round and hit on a couple of them, I start to really like this Eagles team.
Yeah. I mean, right now they're already good enough to throw a lot of teams under the bus, wittingly or unwittingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they have a great offensive line, which is why Hurts looks good. Like that's the main thing if you have a young quarterback, is if you can put them behind a good offensive line, like there can be stability there. And I also think like Howie Roseman, their GM's pretty smart because he values the backup quarterback. Like Nick Foles won a game for them, and then he brought in Hurts when they had Wentz, and then this year with Gardner Minshew. And like all of those backups have come in and won games for the Eagles. And then we have like the Vikings are starting Sean Mannion tonight. Like there's still teams that aren't valuing backup quarterbacks. And I think the Eagles are one of the smarter teams that they've always been on top of that. And like Gardner Minshew winning that game for them this year is what's going to get them into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I mean, same could be said about all 3 of your Buffalo Bills. You brought in the MVP.
That's true, we did. Backup quarterback is an important position in today's NFL, especially with a quarterback who plays like Allen does. I mean, the number of times a game he puts his whole body on the line, it's equal parts thrilling and concerning. But having a guy like Trubisky, who he can come in and win you a game, he's got plenty of starting experience. He's proven that he can play at an elite level, just not consistently. If he comes in and he gives you a game that's good enough, and you can change your game plan to work to his strengths, then all the better for it. But ideally, you don't want to have to use them. But the importance of a backup option in a 17-game season is it's massive.
The Vikings' playoff lives just came down to Sean Mannion. Like after that, I think that should be a wake up call for sure.
Yeah. And now they're eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't have won with Kirk, but.
I mean, they had no chance in that football game. Like literally from the first quarter, like they had no chance.
No, I know,
like,
but
the guy they started gave them no chance.
Yeah. They were doomed from the get go.
For as much as like went down today, a lot of high scoring games, a lot of good games in the early window, especially. Like it was a lot we found out today, but it's also like not, because everything pretty much happened how we thought it would. And then it's unfortunate for us because now, like, we kind of just got to pull narratives and storylines out of these games. Like, I mean, it was the late window, but I almost was going to agree with Garrett's opinion on Cliff Kingsbury because the first, 3 quarters of that game, I was like, he's playing it kind of safe. Yeah, they had the lead. But Dallas, struggling on offense and not being able to do anything really bailed out Cliff. And then in the fourth quarter, they kind of got it together. McCarthy having used timeouts earlier is what ultimately killed Dallas in that game. But, I mean, it was a win for Arizona that they needed, but somebody was going to have to win a sloppy game. And, I don't feel more confident in them because they beat Dallas.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's week 17, we're used to going to the playoffs, and this year I feel like we still don't even know who's good yet. All of these great teams just have huge flaws, and the Packers are going to finish with the best record, but they don't really seem any different to me than what they've been the last couple of years. I just can't buy into any of these teams.
I don't know. I really think Green Bay, they're going to win it.
I think Green Bay are probably the only team at this point in the season that I can look at and say definitively they're head and shoulders above the rest of the league. Because I say head and shoulders, I wouldn't even say that much. They're like a fringe above the rest.
But Theo said, though, it's Green Bay, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago, that they have these playoff demons, and they just can't get rid of them. And we know that
Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions in the second half of the NFC Championship last year. Like, that never happens, and they weren't able to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Like, they're hard to trust. That's because I think they're really good, but I also just don't see how they're different from the previous 2 years.
Yeah, what's changed really? Yeah, but even then, I think the Packers are still the only team I could say I have confidence in to actually win the damn thing. Do I think the Titans can do it with or without Derrick Henry? No. Do I think the Chiefs can do it with that secondary? Probably not. Their offensive line hasn't been better than last year either. You know, they're still the exact same team we saw last year, and everyone here knows how to beat that team. I mean, yeah,
is that true? The Jets play the Bills at 4:25 next week.
Yeah,
there's just a bunch of
Why?
games flexed.
Oh, because they're trying to negotiate them. So NFC games I imagine will be early, AFC will be later, because they want to determine. They want to make it so that the games matter. So they'll need the Bills and the Patriots playing each other playing other teams at the same time, because their games have seeding on each other. You can't have one game end and then the other team decide to play the backups instead at the last minute. The NFL wants to make money.
4:25.
But like today was perfect,
Knicks.
right? I woke up at 11:50.
AFC East, NFC West, and NFC South play at 4:25.
Lovely.
I woke up today at 11:50, walked in the living room. I put on Fox. I watched their great John Madden tribute. I watched the Jets on Fox, finally. The game was over at 4, and then, I did whatever I needed to do the rest of the day. Now, my whole day is just tied up in football. And then, instead of being mad at the Jets and my day being ruined at 1:15, it now has to wait until, 5. Thanks, Goodell.
Okay, but are you going to be mad if the Jets lose, though, or is that just better draft position at this point?
No, because I want them to, like today was annoying that they lost because they should have won.
Yeah, they just blew it, yeah.
Okay, that's actually a good point. So when McDermott went for the touchdown, on the Monday night game against the Titans, everyone was like, oh, good call, blah, blah, blah. And then when the Jets do it and they don't go for the field goal to go up a touchdown, everyone's like, oh, Salah's an idiot.
Why did it was just a play call. You snuck Zach Wilson on 4th and 2. That was
I get
terrible.
that, but yeah, I don't get
Yeah, I mean, I respect going for it, but it's also about probability of getting it, right? Where on a QB sneak, the QB gets it, 95% of the time?
Yeah, but that was
from the 1 yard to the half yard.
It was a 4th and 2, and they're I don't know.
Yeah,
it was super weird.
Yeah, on 2 yards, you probably need something outside of a QB sneak.
I would have just taken the points, go up by a touchdown.
I mean, yeah. I understand going for 2 scores, but you're also, if you go up a touchdown, then you're not losing. This game goes to overtime at worst. And I mean, that's what would have happened. You would have been running that last second drive down the field, and you wouldn't be running the desperation play to try and win the game. You'd be thinking about getting into field goal range to try and win that. You're not trying to avoid a last second loss. To either you get it and you get it and win, or you miss it and go to overtime. The stakes are wholly different.
Yeah, I would have taken the points. Going for it was dumb.
Yeah, easy in hindsight though, right? Like when you're fired up and your team's good enough to win this game and they've proven they can do it, you believe in them, right?
No.
But that's fair then. I believe in my team.
No, you just take the points. Then it makes it harder because they have to score a touchdown.
Yeah, no. In that scenario, I would probably agree. Take the points. If you're playing from
Wilson
behind,
and Braxton Barrios, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend. 2 catches, 11 yards, 2 touchdowns, or something, or 2 attempts.
That was in
11 yards if he's lucky. 11 yards if he's lucky.
That was the first possession, guys. Way to follow up on the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, no one's watching that anyway. Biggest thing that came out of that is Antonio Brown.
Yeah, which is annoying. Braxton Barrios had one of the best games anybody's had this millennium.
65 yards through the air, 12 on the ground, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
that was concerning though. The Bucks' performance. You would say there was nothing to take out of that game. I took away that concerned about the Bucks without all the weapons.
Yeah, before or after losing AB, I mean, they've already lost Godwin. Mike Evans is playing hurt. Fournette's out. Yeah.
So now you got Mike Evans, Brashad Perryman, Cyril Grayson, and Tyler Johnson. That's not a good lineup. After you went from Godwin, AB, and Mike Evans to start the season.
Yeah, you've gone from an all-star lineup that's gonna everyone's casually repeating. Yeah,
those guys went from being like 5th and 6th on the depth chart, and now they're going to be getting screamed at by Tom Brady on national TV during a playoff game for running the wrong route.
Yeah, and even no, the problem's going to be they run the right route, but then they didn't understand whatever his change at the line was. They're like, sorry, I just got told to do that, and sorry, I didn't hear you screaming pancake, 22. I didn't know what that meant. I just got here. I was reading my playbook this morning. Jesus. I would feel bad for them, but they're also playing with Tom Brady, and I kind of don't have that much sympathy for anyone on his team.
Fun fact, actually, Braxton Barrios and Christian McCaffrey could one day potentially become related. Both dating.
They got married?
No.
You got to make them more specific.
Yeah, because I could totally see them marry each other.
I mean, that's pretty specific when you say that they could be related. I would have just said they could get married if they were in that's pretty cut and dry. All right, I thought that was a neat anecdote, but whatever.
No, it is. It's something I didn't know. I did learn something. I just think my way's more fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I can't wait to tell everybody I see that fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it would have been a lot more fun, but then, the British had to come and make a whole tea party out of it.
Well, see, here's the thing. We do that. We're just kind of famous for it.
What about the Ravens almost doing it? Almost beating the Rams.
They've lost 4 games by less than 2 points in the last month.
Yeah. I almost feel bad for the Ravens. I don't feel bad for them, but I almost do.
They've lost 22 players to injuries. Then they have others inactive, like Lamar Jackson. I think 2 other starters were out with injury today.
So how the hell did Lamar Jackson make the Pro Bowl? I know you guys probably
16
did a Pro Bowl
TDs, 14 INTs.
I don't get it. He's also been inexplicably injured in a million ways all year long. He's missed 4 games as well? I'm not saying you can't go make the Pro Bowl if you're injured, but I mean, his team is. I mean, they've looked as good with him as they have without him at this point. We have definitive evidence of that. It just seems.
Tyler Hundley
the NFL
looked
would
pretty good today still.
Yeah, Tyler Hundley did look good. I think that he
ran the offense well.
Yeah, I mean he is he's a lot like RG3 was in that same offense, right? They know what they're doing with backup quarterbacks in Baltimore. They bringing in guys who can run a similar offense to the one that they run already, so they don't have to make major changes. Yeah, it's kind of what the Bills did with Trubisky. You see teams do it. You see smart teams do it a lot. With a backup quarterback, it's not about having, the next guy in line, the successor to the throne, so much as it is to have the guy who can run the same offense.
I also really like when the backup quarterback, becomes the starter and, takes all their mannerisms and dresses like them and acts like them. I always really enjoyed that.
Like Mike White should have done.
What, shrunk and gone Mormon?
Right, yeah. That's of course the jet wave.
Got his mom to suddenly be very attractive.
You guys was it a Bill's New Year resolution to just I don't know, make fun of me and make me feel less of myself or something?
Well, Deontay's not on the podcast. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, we need someone.
Just be civil. Yeah. What do you mean, someone?
We need an outlet. We've been Bills fans for a long time. Just give us this.
I'm a Jets fan. I understand the pain.
Okay, well, in that case, invite X on him.
Would
We'll
you
clown
have
him.
a Super Bowl win?
Dude, how long ago was that? What Super Bowl is it going to be? 55?
Yeah,
That's
that was what
52
in the
years ago.
40s. Your Jets win.
So I was like negative 30.
In 1970, I believe.
Okay, yeah, negative 29. You're right.
Yeah, it was, I know
thing.
it was Super Bowl 3, right?
Yeah.
Because that was the first game ever actually named the Super Bowl, because before that they were all called the AFC NFC Championship game. Or sorry, the AFL NFL Championship game, and then they got retroactively named the Super Bowl.
See what all those history articles do?
Yeah, see guys, it's what I do. I'm just that good. Can you believe it? The New York Jets of the AFL beat up the Baltimore Colts. That's right. Whoa, hang on. No, okay, so everyone knows, everyone knows about that Jets team and Joe Namath's guarantee. But did you know that the head coach was named Weeb Eubank?
My gosh.
That's a winning name right there.
That's what I'm naming my first child that now. I'm sorry. They'll say,
Weeb Harris.
I'm giving them the same last name too. They can let my last name die. It's fine. But hey Dad, why is my sister named Rose? Because your mother loves roses, son. Thanks, Dad. No problem. Weeb Eubank.
All right, let's steer the ship and talk about dudes dropping their nuts on the table.
Yeah, let's do it.
Whoever's going first is picking Jamar Chase, so I guess you three just figure out who's going first.
Who's taking Jamar Chase? All right, my guy this week is Jamar Chase. I bet no one saw it coming. Yeah,
I didn't want to take him.
What do you want? He averaged 24.2 yards a catch with 11 receptions. You got a guy averaging 24 point something yards a catch. He's got 2 catches max. This man averaged 24.2 yards a catch on 11 receptions. He was running out of coverages. He was becoming open simply by willing himself into space. I mean, that ball stuck to his hands like glue, and he stuck his nuts to the KC's face masks like glue. It was incredible. He just did it. I'm honestly coming off go, but he was electric. I love it.
Yeah, but maybe it was good that he got cut off there by his own body, because that was getting dark there.
Yeah, that's what he did.
He continued a great weekend for receivers. Jackson Smith and Jigba had over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns for Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. Clearly a hallowed tradition.
I gotta go with Cam Jordan here, though, since Yeston took the obvious one. Had 8 tackles, 3.5 sacks. He finally came back to his, prime self, the one that we're all used to seeing for the last 8 years. It was nice to see him back finally, and the Saints having a nice pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a pretty great season, I think. But obviously the team hasn't. But he's done a phenomenal job, and it's good to see him back on top.
Steven, you have your big ball white receiver that you like. I'm going to put my claim on my big ball white receiver, Hunter Renfro. 7 catches, 76 yards, a touchdown. Almost had another touchdown on that crazy play at the end of the game. He's just been amazing this year. Ruggs had whatever happened. Waller's been out. And Hunter Renfro's become the focal point of this offense. And he's what is he? He might be over 1,000 yards on the season now. Just surprising. The Raiders have shocked me. Everything they've overcome to be 9-7, interim coach, all this stuff. And both those times they played the Chiefs and got smacked. I thought their season was over, and they've come back and they've beaten the Browns, Broncos, and Colts 3 weeks in a row. 3 good wins, and now they play to go to the playoffs next week. Very surprising, honestly, that the Raiders are in this.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of proud of them. I mean, Derek Carr's done a phenomenal job leading that team.
Mine probably pretty obvious too. 3 weeks in a row. Should have been a month straight, but Braxton Barrios, 8 receptions, 65 yards, 2 tutties, one of them on the ground, a whole gaggle of kickoff return yards. Kind of ridiculous that he's an alternate for the Pro Bowl. I mean, you could argue now that he should have been in contention as a receiver, not just returner, but I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, he matched his season high in receiving yards today with 65.
So?
His season total for the year is 65.
No, he definitely had more yards than that. You're saying, like, of a game, or now he has 130 receiving yards for the year?
130 I'm talking about.
There's no way. He was like the leading receiver until week 3.
That's sad. That's really sad, actually.
That's just like...
I'm looking it up.
There's a 0% chance that that's actually true. All right, Bryce, as we do when we only have a little bit of time and nothing else to talk about, you talk about something that isn't degrading towards me again. Dude, he had 52 a few weeks ago and 47 a few weeks before that. I'm no mathematician, but that's at least 90. I knew that you were lying, but I had to look it up.
You had to check it, yeah.
You know what? You don't even get the time anymore. Theo, you talk about something for like 30 seconds.
You know who I want to talk about is Braxton Barrios, my favorite NFL wide receiver.
All right, audience. It's just you and me for the last 60 seconds of this.
Anyway.
I can't trust anybody besides you and me.
Singletary finally had a 100-yard game, though. Only took him years. Only it took the Bills running back years to do.
Yeah, we haven't had a running back go over that mark in a long time.
Price and shady.
Suddenly now they want to bring insight.
That's what we do. Only when you don't ask for it.
Oh, and the Bills didn't punt for the second straight week in a row.
Ooh, go Bills.
There's that for some insight.
We could have used a couple punts.
Yeah. We won't talk about how the Bills got to no punting, though.
Yeah, but, we won by 14. I'm all right with that. Let's just say it was a good game.
Yeah, watching Josh Allen run through the snow makes up for a couple bad decisions here or there.
If only could have done it in shorts.